Nathan, what's up, my bro? Cold down here in Florida today. Chilly, chilly. I don't like it. People love it, not me. New World Muscle, what's up, brother? What up, Keith? It's Thursday, back day. Got a good one today. Switched it up a little bit today. Switched up the flow a little bit today. Did some supersets and a giant set today. Felt like going a little more into the reps today than going too heavy. It's freezing in California. My hands were frozen riding to work. Terrible. Listen, last night I was walking my dogs, and man, it was windy too. And man, the dogs didn't even like it. It was like they were ready to go. Jack was not having it. He was like sitting down on the ground like, nope. It was cold last night. You know, cold for us is obviously a lot different than most of the rest of the country down here. Cold for us is like, you know, when it gets into the 50s. It was like 55, I think it hit last night, which is for Florida is fucking cold. It doesn't get cold like that down here, you know. Yeah, I was like, this morning I got up. It actually felt colder last night when I was walking the dogs than it did this morning, but it's still chilly. It's still chilly. Anyway, got a good back workout. Sometimes takes me a little longer to get warmed up when it's cold like that. Ken, man, it doesn't get cold like that down here. No. We don't ever get any of that Wisconsin weather. That was part of the reason why I wanted to come here, man. I grew up in Connecticut. You know, New England, we used to get blasted up there. So much snow and all that BS. No, thank you. I do not miss that stuff at all. Dakota Lee, good morning. So anyway, like I said, Thursday is back day. It's cardio time now. Walk the dogs. And I got a couple things going on today. I got a Zoom interview later on today for something I'm doing with Muscle and Fitness. Very excited about that. We have a new video coming out tonight that you guys are gonna love. I love this video that I'm putting out tonight. Chris Graham helped edit this video for me. So yesterday I shot a great chest workout with Chris Luke. That video is going to be awesome for you guys. So that'll come out next week. But tonight, guys, some of my newer followers won't even know about this. The OGs are going to remember the year that I did the Brawl for It All, which was, I think, 2020. So not too long ago. The Brawl for It All was a lot of fun. We put on a bunch of wrestling matches. It was crazy, but you know, it sucks because back then it was so much different on social media back then. You couldn't say anything about Trump. You could not say anything about Trump at all. You would get shadow banned, and then they would lie about it and say, oh, there's no shadow ban. And, I had made the mistake of doing something about Trump, and we were actually shadow banned during Black Friday, which is bullshit, because we actually were spending a lot of money with the parent company, Facebook, on ads, you know. Very uncool. We're spending all this money on ads, and you're shadow banning us, and nobody's seeing any of our stuff. People are like, oh, I haven't seen anything from you, I haven't seen you. I'm like, that's crazy. We're paying all this money. And we're shadow banned. That's a crime, right? So anyway, so many less people saw it than should have, but I was able to organize the first ever Kenny KO boxing match. So I don't know how many of you guys follow Kenny KO on YouTube. He's awesome, hilarious guy. We did some stuff with Blackstone for him for a while, but he was, hey, shalom, bolshoi. So Kenny KO was trolling everybody, man. He's a master troll. He's great. calling people out on fake lifts and fake natty, this and that. And, you know, he would challenge people. To boxing matches. And nobody would take his offer. Nobody would take it. And I'm like, man, all these guys that act so tough and this and that, nobody will step up to him. So I actually convinced Chris Luke and him to do the deed. And so the video that's out tonight is the story of how that came to be, plus some of the footage from it, which may have been one of the unseen angles of footage. So you guys are gonna like that. It's a quick video. It's just like an 8-minute video. And it's just the story of how it came to be, how it all worked out, some behind the scenes stuff that nobody knows about. And you guys are gonna really, really enjoy it. Talk about a mismatch. You know, Kenny KO is like 50 pounds bigger than him, but Chris Luke has huge balls. I gotta give him that. And listen, they went hard. They weren't holding back. So you guys will enjoy that tonight. Be on the lookout for that tonight. I'm gonna post that at 6 o'clock tonight. Since then, nobody has stepped up to Kenny KO in a boxing match. The funny thing is, Chris Luke said he wants to fight him again. So good morning, Melanie. Let's see. My man Bolshoi Kush is in the house. Who was the most popular bodybuilder among the ladies when you competed besides me? Oh, man. They loved Evan Centopani, bro. My man Evan. They loved Evan so much. And it was so funny because he was the bigger, better version of me. I knew it. You know what I mean? And we were best friends, so, you know, I love Evan so much. So, you know, Evan was like, if I was Flex Wheeler, Evan was the damn Ronnie Coleman. You know what I mean? As far as Connecticut goes. I'm by no means saying that I am anywhere on that level. I never was. But if I had the chance to be the top guy in Connecticut, Evan reigned on that parade. And man, Evan had one of the greatest starts to any pro career ever. Won his first 2 pro shows at like 25 years old. So we would go places, and I always had balls to talk to girls where Evan was more shy. I'll never forget the time I met Larissa Rice. So Larissa Rice at one point was like the hottest girl in the industry. Brazilian Barbie doll, basically, guys. I mean, she was just fire. And I was like, oh man, Larissa Rice, I'm gonna go talk to her. So I go over to her. I think I'm all smooth. I introduce myself. She said hi. Much deeper voice than I expected, but that was okay. And we're talking, and all of a sudden she goes, can you introduce me to your friend? And points at Evan. And I'm like, he has a girlfriend. Come on. But yeah, man, girls loved Evan, man. They loved Evan. Rightfully so. He's a handsome devil, and he's a very good guy. All right, cars. Brian Ferry, or the Cars Drive, or Brian Ferry, Slave to Love. I don't really love either of those songs. Probably the Cars, though. Man, I don't know what happened to Larissa Bolshoi Kush. She was very, very, very hot, though. She was like, of all these hot girls that have come from Brazil, there was a couple standouts that were just on another level. Probably, to me, though, I would say the hottest one ever to me was Juliana Malacarne. Part of that was like where I was in life and this and that. Man, Juliana Malacarne, there was nobody like her. I remember I was at this event one year. I don't know if it was the Arnold or the Olympia. And it was the after party, and she was there in a dress, and she was dancing. And I remember I was looking at her calves and just looking at her dancing, and I was like, that is the best body I've ever seen at this point. Like, how is this girl not the best in the world? They're placing her bad in shows. They're placing her poorly in figure. It felt like it was like a slap in the face. Like, I've never seen anyone like this before. And then, sure enough, they start the women's physique division, and, you know, she became Miss Olympia for the few years, the greatest Miss Olympia in the women's physique division as far as I'm concerned. Just beautiful, beautiful physique, beautiful face, great posing. She's actually really, really cool too. She's really, really nice, but man, I had never seen anybody like that. Let's see, Bolshoi Kush, Batman Returns with Michael Keaton. Ooh. And Danny DeVito, of course, as the Penguin. Or Batman Forever, Val Kilmer, and Jill Kennedy. Batman Returns. I like the OG stuff, for sure. I didn't really like Val Kilmer that much as Batman. I like myself a Christian Bale Batman, though. Did I approach Amanda Latana back in the day? Nope, never approached her, actually. And she got scooped up by Steve Kuklo, who was another great bodybuilder around the time when I was coming up, popular guy. Most muscular pose, Ronnie versus Marcus Rule. I gotta go Marcus Rule on the most muscular. Ronnie overall always wins, right? But there's a few poses where you break it down that there's guys that'll beat him. And man, Marcus Rule's most muscular was just insane, the amount of muscle that he had. Batman Forever was good just because of Kiss by a Rose from Seal, of course. One of the most iconic movie songs ever. Kuklo is shy also. He's you know, Steve was a little younger than me. We both came up around the same time. Another guy, young guy with amazing genetics. You know, back then, when we were coming up, I think the physiques were a lot different back then, if you ask me. I'll tell you, it was an interesting time, guys, before all the social media craze, because bodybuilders, we would have like groupies, basically. And it wasn't like, you know, rock star amounts of groupies where you can't go anywhere. But it was pretty crazy, man. Like, I would go to events and all these girls would know who I was, and it was crazy. And then once, like, Facebook became a thing, oh my God. I went on a tear for a while. It was a wild time. The world has changed quite a bit since then. Who had the biggest delts that I've ever seen on stage? Well, I saw Marcus Rule on stage, and he was really freaky. I also saw Tom Prince on stage. He was very freaky also, man. Wow. So those two are up there. You know, I've seen Jay and Ronnie on stage, freaks. Dennis Wolf also. Dennis Wolf, man, on stage, his delts in some of the poses, like the back double bicep, man, you really like, wow, the amount of mass that he had. I'm sure I'm forgetting some of the other freaky guys. Best DM strategy to approach chick that you don't know on Instagram but find attractive. You know what? You got to vary it up, I think, for the individual. So what I used to do is I would check their pages out, scroll all the way down to the bottom, because women are very different than men with their social media. You can tell a woman's whole life story on social media. Go scroll all the way down to the bottom. You can see who they were dating and when they were happy and when they started going through problems. And then, you know, if they broke up, there'll be a whole bunch of stuff with them and all their girlfriends for a while, and some sort of like rebirth phase, and you can figure it all out. So, you know, you strategize by what you're seeing. You know, if you're seeing a girl that's posting a lot of pictures with her boyfriend or her husband, not really worth your time. You know what I mean? You look for the one You look for the girls that are showing pictures of themselves going out with a lot of girls. Girls' night, girls' night. Because honestly, guys, now today is a little bit different day and age. Today is a little bit different day and age. But most of the time during this era, girls don't want to do that. They don't want to do every night girl night. That's just because they don't want to be home alone. And you can see it if you scroll down to the bottom. I used to tell girls, this is what's going on in your life. You've been posting all these random ass pictures at the beach very early in the morning because you can't sleep, because you're alone and you're thinking about a change. And they'd be like, what the fuck? How can you tell all that stuff? I'm like, you're putting it all out on social media. There's a pattern that we follow for these things. So when you see a lot of those girl night, boom, you DM, damn, that looks like a fun time. Oh, what club was that? I think I've been there before. Oh, da-da-da. And you start just sliding in with that kind of stuff. You never, ever, ever go in and tell them how hot they are, because every girl, even the ones that aren't hot, already gets that a lot already. Now, the industry girls, they get it like crazy. They get it like crazy, so you got to come from a completely different angle. And the best angle is also humor. And find stuff that is showing them having a good time and laughing, and then share your own personal experiences with it. Go in with that humor for a little while, because after you do that for a little while, they're going to be like, why is this guy not hitting on me at all? That's what always happens. No, we're wrapped up, Scat Man. So that's the biggest tip I used to tell these guys is don't go in and start hitting on them right away. You're going to fail right out the gate with that. That's weak sauce. That's the best tip I could give you is don't go in, don't go in with the classic fire symbols and, oh, you look so good and this and that, blah, blah, blah. That's weak sauce. Everybody's already doing that. But, you follow through and you strategize by what you're seeing. I'm telling you. You see them going out on a bunch of girls' nights, that's when you know it's my time to get in there and break them away from that. Thoughts on Strength Cartel? You know what, man? I gotta be honest with you. I've never really paid too much attention to them. There are certain groups in fitness and bodybuilding that for whatever reason I haven't got into. I mean, there's only so much time in the day. So I couldn't tell you anything good or bad about them. I know there's some huge guys in there. And some very strong guys, but I couldn't even name one of the names, to be honest with you. Good morning, Big Daddy. Good morning, guys. So you just bullshit with chicks on DMs, and how many fucking days you need to wait before I ask for a date? Man, you got to feel it out, because people are scared to go anywhere these days. But if you wait too long, Bolshoi Kush, then you're going to get blasted out regardless. Ooh, Merab or Usman. I mean, listen, I personally think that Merab is because of how good his wrestling is putting him on another level. Is dehydration with creatine HCl normal? I take 3 caps and feel wrecked the next day. Drinking 3 liters of water a day. I think that when it comes to creatine, should it dehydrate you? No. However, you absolutely are going to require more water with the creatine. Absolutely. Because what's happening is it is going to pull more of that water directly into the cell. And this is where a lot of the cell volumizing comes in. And now to get the most out of that, of course you want to have an excess of water. But if you're not getting an excess of water, then your body's natural rhythm of hydration is going to be affected. So 3 liters, absolutely not enough, especially if you're training hard. I would say you need at least 5 liters. You'll feel a lot better. But I mean, listen, at least 4. I would say no creatine, at least 4. With the creatine, shoot for 5. You'll feel better after that. Within a few days, I'm sure you'll feel better for that. Why do you think body count has become such a thing in dating? I don't know. It's a very strange world that we live in. It's a bizarre world. Do you think it's possible to make $2 million a month selling self-help workout programs? There's people out there saying that. God bless them. I can't believe that people will pay for that. I guess I'm doing the wrong thing. How are your shoulders nowadays? I remember saying that they were damaged. I got a bad shoulder too. Do you ever get stem cells? So stem cells didn't do anything for me. Unfortunately, I have a lot of stuff going on there that are beyond stem cells. So for example, I have major degeneration to the humerus bones on both sides. So instead of having a nice ball and socket in the joint, because I've torn the labrums and fucked up the rotator cuffs and everything else, over time with all that scraping and banging, I've developed what is called glenoid dysplasia, right? Because the joint has actually expanded and the humerus bone would slide in and out so much that I've got a major deformity. So the ball is actually all chipped up. It kind of almost looks like a sun instead of a circle. And stem cells can't do anything for that. Now I have done quite a bit to strengthen all the little crap that I got left around there. That helps quite a bit with pain, but I have a very limited range of motion with a lot of movements as far as mobility, major atrophy in the posterior delts, atrophy in the medial delts. The anterior delts still seem to work a little bit. If chick in her 30s, you think will be a pain in the ass to date her because of previous amount of boyfriends she had that ruined her cycle. Happens quite a bit, Bolshoi Kush. Happens quite a bit. I always enjoyed dating older women, actually. I had a blast. When I was in my 20s, I had a blast with women in their 40s that were fresh out of a divorce. That was the funnest time. Because they're actually, a lot of them were approaching the dating scene the way guys approach the dating scene. They're just trying to go out and have some fun. Oh, thank you, Big Daddy. Listen, I'm happy to answer as many questions on as many subjects as I can. I've had a lot of personal experiences and a lot of different categories over the years, you name it, and I'm happy to share it. Thank you, Sandro Garcia. I appreciate you saying that. You guys are going to love the YouTube video that I'm putting out tonight. It's a good story. A great 8-minute story you guys are going to get a kick out of. GSP. The UFC fighter posted on Facebook a couple of days ago how he had shoulder surgery that fixed his long-time injury. So, from the experts that I've talked to, Scatman, it seems I would do very well with complete shoulder replacement. The shoulder replacements have become very advanced now. In fact, I was in prison with a guy who worked for the doctor who invented them. Dr. Frankel's his name. It's just a matter of, for me, setting a time in life where I don't mind being out of commission while one arm is recovering and then the other one. But the recovery is a lot faster than reconstruction the way it used to be. Best pro hormone that I ever tried before they banned everything, Superdrol, for sure. Superdrol is outstanding. Thoughts on high pH water? I don't think that the pH has to be through the roof, but I do drink alkaline water. So everything that I drink is alkaline, even the good old-fashioned Kirkland Signature alkalines. But I don't think that it needs to be through the roof. I think you're far better off, though, drinking some alkaline water than you are the nasty stuff that comes out of the tap, especially considering no matter where we are, there's fluoride and all sorts of other shit in the water. Imagine in 20 years, you in a nursing house, you ruin relationships with your son because he identifies himself as the cat. No, don't say it. Feds ruined your finances. Marissa left you for rich Jewish doctor. Your thoughts. Well, listen, if they were kind enough to get me in a nursing home where I don't have to worry about anything anymore, at least I can say thank you for that. But any outcome that doesn't involve Marissa is a heartbreaking one for me. Bolshoi Kush, Chris Benoit, or Billy Kidman. Chris Benoit, very sad, tragic story. But I was a fan of his Wolverine type style in the gym. Dom, good morning. Al, good morning, guys. What's going on? It's Thursday. I've been trying to sell these 2 pieces of cardio equipment for a while. And I'm essentially giving them away almost at this point now, but I finally found somebody that's gonna come and buy them. Very happy. That's supposed to happen around lunchtime today. They've been just essentially collecting dust. So I'm looking forward to, opening up that space where they were sitting. My thoughts on Dan Bilzerian, I mean, he's a scammer. He has been proven to be a scammer, has lied about all these things. Dad was very, very rich. I mean, listen, if your dad is that rich and you don't go on to make a shitload of money, that's like beyond being a failure. You have no excuse. Now, that doesn't make you a loser if your dad is rich and you go on to become rich also. It just makes things infinitely easier. Talk to anybody that grew up poor. Talk to anyone that grew up poor how much different life is when nobody's helping you out. And listen, it makes you appreciate life in a much different way. Man, I grew up in a house where a lot of days my mom didn't even have money for the $2 lunch in the morning. We had no food in the house. She just literally said, see if you could grab money off some of your rich friends. And what I would do is I would go to the end of the lunch line and I would stand there. Lunch was $1.75, and I would just say, excuse me, can I have your quarter? To everybody that was coming out. And I'd wind up getting $5-6 pretty fast because most of those kids didn't care and they would just give away their quarter. So then I'd go in, I'd buy my lunch. I'd also usually buy another lunch because I was already into bodybuilding at that point and know I needed food. And eventually the principal called my mom to school and said, your son has been panhandling the lunch line, uses his side to intimidate people. My mom was like, no. I know how I raised my son. He's polite and would never bully anybody. We don't have any money for food. So if he wants to ask nicely and they want to give him the money, then there shouldn't be any problem with that. She stood up for me in that sense. So you take somebody that grew up in that kind of life and have them hustle hard and work to make it, you're going to get a much different kind of person than the Dan Bilzerian type. So, listen, man, good for him. But, everything he does is a facade. Would you put a shirt on for the seller? Absolutely. I have to actually go and shower and get over there for him. I'll have a hoodie back on when I get off this because I got to walk the dogs again. Yes, it's very interesting, Bolshoi Kush, the sides that people choose to take on a lot of these things, isn't it? Are BCAAs overrated, or they help a little also when you're... So, let me get into the amino discussion. Well, first let me answer Bolshoi Kush, Way of the Dragon, definitely. So, when I was coming up, BCAAs were a major big thing. And I'll tell you, I spent money on BCAAs, right? Everybody was drinking BCAAs a lot. 20 grams a day. Put in your gallon, drink it all day. Make sure if you're dieting, you better be taking BCAAs in. They're the building blocks of muscle. Then eventually somebody came out and was like, BCAAs are bullshit, EAAs are better. This always happens in fitness, right? But the thing is, you can't get the BCAAs from food. So to switch the other way made no sense. The best thing is to have them all together, because without the EAAs, the BCAAs don't digest the right way, they don't absorb the right way. The absorption is altered. So when I started Blackstone, I was like, I want to have a BCAA and EAA formula, and I got a little too crazy with it. I was like, I want to put vitamins as if it was a multivitamin in there, and I want to put hydration ingredients in there, and I'm going to put a nootropic in there. You know, my original ones had a strong nootropic in it. And the problem with doing that, guys, is that it's hard to make it taste good. So a lot of people didn't think my original Resurgence tastes good. So, you know, if I were to do it over, I would have just did a basic BCA EAA formula. Make it taste good, get rid of all the other stuff they added in. Is it gonna make or break you? Nope. I think that aminos are a much, much more beneficial product for people that are on restricted calorie diets. If you're eating plenty of food and a variety of food, you should be good to go. But if you're in a restricted calorie diet, then yes, I think BCAAs are great. Now, there's certain people that are really, really big on aminos. Milos Starshev is huge on aminos. But he also works with a lot of people on restricted calorie diets. So, the Delray Misfits podcast, you were a guest on. Were classic. Too bad they stopped doing that. I also enjoy the newest ones you're on. Thank you. Rest in peace to Big Lenny. Yeah. Listen, I love Andrew. So anything Andrew would ask me to do, I'd be happy to do again. I feel like Andrew is underappreciated as far as the comedic genius of him and what he was able to create with Jason. Because without Andrew, there is no Genova. Any thoughts on working with relatives and friends? I do not recommend it, guys. I have been warned on it over the years, and although it seems great, especially when you're in the boss position, if anything happens where you're not signing the checks anymore, you're instantly a bad guy. No matter how poor of a worker they might be, no matter how bad they screw up, I have found that if it's your friend or your family, you'll give them way more passes than you would a standard employee. It gets taken advantage of a lot, and as soon as you finally do what's considered the right thing, after warnings, whatever, and you stop those paychecks, you're a scumbag, you'll get bashed behind your back. I actually strongly recommend not doing that. It sounds great when you have a best friend to do something. You know, like, who knows, man? Like, me and Aaron would probably be best friends if we didn't go into business together. We were the best friends in the world. Same thing with family, man. I've had family really let me down in business. Pancakes or French toast? I gotta go pancakes, but I do love French toast. Oh wow, Silverchair and Mother Love Bone, tough. Silverchair, underrated. You know, they came on the scene strong out of Australia. Isn't it funny how all singers from different countries never sound like the country that they're from? Who would have thought that those guys were from Australia? They had that one really awesome song. What was that song? You're gonna wait, fat boy, wait till tomorrow. That was a fucking, excuse my language, I got a little excited right there. That was a great song. Faith No More, Epic, or EMF? Unbelievable, definitely. What a little switch of direction on that one. Oh my God, my heart rate went up to 143 on that. I gotta settle down. I gotta settle the hell down. You guys are getting me going today. That's okay. Robert Carius, NAD, and NMN. I believe correct initial is that, worth taking. So guys, I did NAD when the first came on the scene. Go on the Blackstone Labs YouTube, find the videos that I did on there with the NAD intravenous drips. Now I can tell you that the most beneficial way to do it is IV. I do know that there's companies that have done it with a liposomal delivery. I believe my partner Jared has done it with high tech, of course. So if you were going to take it, I would strongly suggest you do the high tech ones. And you know, it's interesting. I think the jury is still out on some of these things, but I have a friend that does injectable intramuscular NAD, and he feels that it's been a very positive thing for him. He says that his memory is phenomenal. He feels very clear and focused. His work requires a lot of focus. He's a sales rep, he's a machine, and he's really, really big on it. Now, I really want to see more on it. You know, I really do. I've seen more now discussions of NAD IVs being used in rehab facilities, which is very interesting. Rehab, I mean drug rehab. So, you know, I'd like to see some people's personal experiences, but if you're gonna do it, make sure you get a liposomal delivery, which is why I'm sending you to high tech, because I haven't seen anything that supports it can be absorbed well in the stomach without liposomal. So if it's not liposomal or one of these fake liposomal companies, you're just gonna be burning it up in your gut. Big Daddy says, I loved your back video and the tips about coming out in different body parts. So we shot chest yesterday, and that one will be out Monday. Make sure you look for that one. I'm gonna put all these videos out on Mondays, guys. The me and Chris Luke training videos will be on Mondays. We're gonna do one for everything. When will a video about legs back? Every week, every Monday, I'll have a new video like this. I'm gonna keep doing them for a while. Who made the best Italian sauce I ever had? My grandma took the time to do it really slow and efficient on the weekends. Delicious. Everything she did was good, especially when she would get all those meats and stuff sitting in there all day. That's the way to do it. We don't even make our own. Honestly, man, we use Rayo's out of the jar. If you're in a quick pinch and want to make some good quick Italian food, I think Rayo's is the best, you know, affordable jarred one that you can get. I like the Rayo's. What kind of any rehab work did you do for your groin injury? Also, did you take any supplements to assist recovery? I've been taking aminos, gluten. So once I realized that it was very bad, I went down to Dr. Nick, and we did Physio Magnet, which is incredible for speeding up recovery. We did Physio Magnet and infrared light. And that actually made a big impact right away. So we did Physio Magnet, infrared light, and I got a brace, like a girdle, that I wore literally all day for like 30 days. And then after those 30 days, I still wore it, guys, when I was training, and I had to keep wearing it on here. But I also did BPC 157, 1 milligram directly into the area for about 6 weeks. And I had to just really, really baby it. I'm also, of course, on growth hormone, which makes a tremendous difference. Tomorrow, that's what it was. Back to the silver chair. Very good, Nathan. Appreciate the help. If you're trying to maintain recomp, how much of a caloric deficit is ideal? Well, some dude, this honestly, man, is really going to come down to what your time frame of things are. Whenever you do something very slow and steady, it is extremely easy. So I'm going to give you an example. When I used to want to stay in shape after my shows, it's very difficult for people to not go crazy after their shows. But I learned my lesson the earlier years of competing, gaining 20 pounds in a weekend and all these crazy things. And then you're like, man, I was so lean for so long, I look like trash. What I used to do is I would add in 100 calories a week, which is nothing. An apple is friggin' 80 calories, you know what I mean? And it was very challenging. It was very challenging. I did still have a cheat meal that I didn't count into my daily macros. So each day, I would boost the calories, just 100 calories a day. Now listen, over the week, that's 700 more calories, not including the cheat meal. I also would cut cardio in half. Now, what I tried to do was go 100 calories a week until I felt that I was eating enough food and I was staying stable in weight to where I didn't have to. So if you jump right to 500 calories, you may see that you blur the lines of what you wanted to do faster. And I can tell you, when you do things slow and steady, listen, when you get to that 6-week mark and you're having 500 calories more a day, but you're still absolutely peeled, you're doing half the cardio, so you feel better, you'll be glad that you did it. Dom, I agree, man. You can't go wrong with Rayo's. The Police, Roxanne, or George Michael. Oh, man. Listen, I'm George Michael all day. If I was a girl, I would have had a George Michael poster on my wall growing up, not knowing a damn thing that he was gay all that time. As a man, knowing that he's gay, even better. Definitely a careless whisper. You're welcome, Al. Happy to help. Why no tattoos? Because you do not put bumper stickers on Ferraris. Everybody knows that. The Quest or Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Hard Target was pretty solid. Vacuums or crunches, very, very different approach, because what you can visibly see and what you can't, this is something that to the eye of the beholder, right, is going to be perceived a different way. Now, a vacuum done properly is extremely difficult. But you could train the rectus abdominis, and you could train your breathing and your diaphragm to control an outstanding vacuum, but not have really great separation and definition to your abdomen. And that's no fun. Or on the flip side, you could train your abs with weight, make them really big and thick like raviolis like some of these guys have, but not know how to train your breathing and diaphragm and have one of those turtle guts. That's no fun either. So I think it's great to get a good combination of both, but if I were to only choose one, I would choose the strength building exercises. But a great idea to do both. Good question though, Robert Carius, very good question. Could BCAAs dehydrate you? No, I don't think they should. Perhaps if there's some sort of artificial sweeteners in there that your body doesn't agree with, that could have an impact. He was a stud, Bolshoi Kush. I agree on George Michael. Did I like the movie Vision Quest? Yes, I did, actually. Sinatra would have turned 82 today. Oh my God, I loved Frank. Old Blue Eyes, man. Still classic. Marissa likes to play Sinatra around the house. Do I identify as metrosexual? Hell no. Although I may come across that way. These guys these days are so soft with the earrings and all the other bullshit. And these guys perming their hair and shit. I don't wear cologne. I wear nice suits because I enjoy a fine suit, but as far as what is your typical soft-ass metrosexual behavior, maybe by what would be considered metrosexual in the 90s, but man, seeing these guys painting their fingernails and wearing dangly earrings and shit, hell no, my son's not going to be pulling any of that shit in the house. No, sir. By the way, sorry if I offended any of you young guys right now. I know it's a different time. It's just crazy. It's crazy to me. The tattoo argument I view as your skin is an organ. You wouldn't intentionally put a permanent mark on any of your other organs. That's a great way to look at it, Nathan. You know what part of it is for me, guys? There's nothing that I love that much that I want to put it on my skin. You know, if I think of what I love the most in the world, Marissa, I'm not gonna put a tattoo of her face on my skin. I don't know. I get when people feel that way. First of all, there's no way it would even do a proper service to how beautiful she is to me. What else do I love? Working out? Put a dumbbell on my shoulder? No thank you. So there's really nothing that I've ever loved that much that I feel like it'd be cool on my skin. Let's see. Bolshoi Kush rockers that didn't drink and didn't smoke. Dee Snider. Gene Simmons, Ted Nugent looked pretty good in their 70s. Gene said that he's had 0 surgeries in his lifetime. Listen, there's something to be said about living a healthy lifestyle, of course, especially in a hard lifestyle. We're on the road traveling all the time. I can't imagine being on the road 24/7 and also being hammered the whole time. That's got to take its toll. But then you look on the flip side of some of these guys that abuse drugs for years and they're still alive, which is crazy. How to become the next PJ Braun? Oh man, that's a scary one because this PJ Braun ended up in prison. Who wants that? Have I ever tried to raise a beard or a mustache? Yes, during COVID, since I knew I wasn't doing anything important or whatever for a while, I said I'm not going to shave for a month. I let it go for a month. You can actually see in one of the old videos, I did the Beat PJ finale videos. I'm in a light blue suit and I have a beard. Marissa thought it was sexy. I hated it. It could be the cat voice. Yes, the Metro cat voice. Real men have a dog and cat voice. That's what I say. Could dumbbell workouts be sufficient for a recomp if the diet is right? Absolutely. Any kind of workouts are going to be sufficient if the diet is right. That's it, Robert. That's it. Bullshit Kush. Valentino is 64. Dude looks in his... Man, when I did the show last night, I did the podcast with Jersey Joe and Greg Valentino last night, and man, those guys are awesome. I've known Valentino since I was 18. I had such a fun time with those guys. Such nice guys. When Valentino said he was 64, I was shocked. Absolutely shocked. Did I think Tony Soprano's true love was Carmine Bucco? Yes, probably, but listen, a lot of those guys from that era, your housewife, you had a much, much different relationship with. Who had the most boring ass training video I've ever seen? I don't know. There's a lot of really boring ones these days, guys. Because, in my opinion, there's only 2 ways that you can do training videos. You can do it where it's just pure, intense, hard, heavyweight training. Dorian Yates, blood and guts, all the Ronnie Coleman shit. That style. Branch Warren and Johnny Jackson's training videos, crazy. Or they have to be very educational and informational where you're like, oh, okay, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I've never seen that before. If you're not doing either of those 2 things, or you're just in the middle doing basic shit, boring. Everybody does that already. But you have to understand that some of these guys are just so superior genetically that they could do whatever they want and still look crazy. Somebody like Dexter Jackson, just genetically superior, you know? Cats are gone. Had to get rid of all the cats, Scatman, sadly. They're being housed by someone else at the moment, looking for homes for them, but my cat allergy got so viciously bad that even with the medication and stuff, it's crazy, it's sad. I can still go see them if I want to. Do I think I'll ever be in a show like Jersey Shore? Probably not. That's a funny question, though. I know I get compared to Ronnie quite a bit. How difficult is it to get hard midsection, not on gear, and do you have any tips? Listen, it's all about dieting, man. You got to get the body fat down. It really is more about the dieting even than any kind of ab training that you can do. Oh, man, he said... Bullshit Kush said Jay Cutler's videos made him fall asleep. I think Dexter's were more boring. I love Jay, you know what I mean? But, you know, listen, Jay, he didn't do the craziest heavy weights and freaky shit in his videos. You know, he works out at a good pace, which is very important. I really enjoyed more of Jay's videos where he's talking about business stuff than anything else. Generation Iron, Brittle Fox 2025. Ooh, are they doing it? Or are you asking me to try to make it happen? I did not meet Vinny the Chin, no. Saheem, nice to see you as well. I spent a lot of time out in Long Island, but no. Thoughts on tricep kickbacks? I just started them after training 10 years. I think they're great. Haven't done them in years. Maybe I will put them in this Saturday. Thanks for putting that on my mind. I haven't done tricep kickbacks in many, many years. Actually, I take that back. In prison, I did some kickbacks, but, you know, it was a small bag of rocks. Part of the reason why I got away from doing tricep kickbacks were for the issues that I have with my shoulder and scapula. It's a tough position for me. I really do majority of cable work for my triceps, unless I'm doing like a close grip bench press. And I enjoy seated dips quite a bit. But I haven't done them for a while, and if you're feeling them great, keep going with them. Burl Fox 2025, okay. Let me shout those guys out. I see Vina Galante at my gym on occasion. Dude is in great shape for his age. Man, that's good to hear. I remember Vinny from way back in the day, man. He's been doing it a long time. That's cool to see that he's still in great shape. Very nice guy. Very nice guy. I remember when I was coming up, he was outstanding when I was coming up. All right, guys, we're on 53 minutes here. I'm going to start getting up out of here. Good session today. Thoughts on supersetting a skull crusher with a close grip bench? Listen, you can superset any exercises together. You know, I prefer to have cable variations in what I do. And skull crusher can be very difficult on the elbow. I do like skull crushers, and I do like close grip benches. You know, I would really opt for an isolated move where you can really force blood in with a cable and then go to the skull crusher or to the close grip bench so you don't have to use as much weight. However, there's no wrong combination of superset exercises. How many hours you can take during a flight these days sitting? Good question. I've only flown home from prison. That's it. It wasn't a long flight at all. And it was amazing to be on a plane again. So, very good question. I'm sure that my conditioning to flights is probably very weak compared to how it used to be. But I'll tell you, man, flying first class makes things a lot easier. Do you think bench strength has a lot to do with back strength and our barbell rows good for that? Yes, I do. It all goes, it comes together very well. Absolutely. And core strength also. But being strong in any particular exercise really comes on mastering that exercise and mastering the execution of that exercise, which really comes through repetition and mastering the range of motion and positioning, firing. All right, good session today, guys. Whew. Any expectations from 2025? Man, I'm taking it one day at a time. I wish I could give you more of a better answer from that, but my book will definitely be out in 2025. We'll see if anybody's interested in reading that. I'm making it very, very, very telling. That's for damn sure. I mean, a lot of stuff in there that people don't know. The baby, very exciting about that. Becoming a dad. Expect to see a lot of daddy videos. And yeah, so I appreciate you guys doing this with me. And I'll be back tomorrow. Definitely check out that video tonight, guys, 6 o'clock. You're going to love it. I love you all. God bless you all. Peace out. Bye.